The final half of 2022 saw a new episode of Star Trek each week, and occasionally 2 new episodes as one series finale released on the same day another series premiered. To say Trekkies were spoiled is an understatement. We had new episodes of brand new series and returning, classic characters appearing regularly with both newly familiar characters and whole new casts. The crossovers, the Easter eggs, the old friends, 2022 really was the year of Trek. Hi, and welcome to Katie's Corner in Space in this week's edition of the Star Trek Void, where this week we begin to fill the gap before a whole new year of Trek begins. 2023 is looking to be as packed with space exploration, new aliens, mysteries, and adventure as last year, so the question is where to begin? And that answer is Picard in February. And as now we have 41 days until the Season 3 premiere, it's no surprise Paramount Plus is keeping us hungry for that first episode. We already know the first scene is all about Beverly Crusher thanks to trailers and interviews. That opening scene could lead us into the trouble she's in, which starts off the season's plotline. Now, thanks to a clip released last week, we also have a better idea as to why Jean-Luc is handling his old communicator. In this clip, Picard is home and hears a familiar chirping. With no help from the computer, he locates the source of the sound, moving aside his old Starfleet uniform and holds up the 20-year-old communication device. His computer tells him the signal is encoded and compressed using an unknown codec, and apparently he needs the password. This extra sneak peek doesn't answer many questions other than why is Picard holding an old communicator. As much as I love the inclusion of nostalgia, I'd have hated to see the trailer included this image just because Picard had been reminiscing. However, the clip only adds to the mystery. Who's sending the message? Is it a call for help? I'd guess it's from Beverly, who's no longer a part of Starfleet, so maybe a 20-year-old communicator is what she had handy. But still, who came up with the unknown codec? Nerd Katie had to ask that one. And what is the password? Nosy Katie wants to know that particular fact. Of course, Nosy Katie also wants to know how the heck Tasha Yar is going to appear on Picard, as Crosby did more than hint at reprising her role, saying, "I don't want to give away too much, but I'm going to tell you that we will see Tasha Yar, but I'm not going to tell you how. You've got to watch," Crosby told a fan at 56-Year Mission, Las Vegas. Tasha Yar's death on The Next Generation's first season hasn't stopped Crosby from popping up from time to time. However, playing herself could be tricky unless the antics of Picard Season 2 somehow changed her earlier fate. Though there's always the oft-used dream sequence or flashback. Heck, maybe Sela lied or was misinformed. So we'll just have to wait and see what trope is used for this appearance. These answers and more coming February 16th and beyond.
To infinity and beyond!
The rumors are still bouncing around as to whether Season 3 of Picard is the lead-off point to a new series, and while most seem to focus on the future of Commander Hansen, I'd like to throw this possibility out there: a Worf series. I mean, Captain Worf was one of the series ideas that rolled around in the Trek ether for years, along with the Excelsior series led by Captain Sulu. Okay, Sulu may not be captaining any ships these days, but I still think Captain Worf would be a terrific series. Now, I know what you're going to say. Worf can't be in command. He lost that chance after going after Jadzia. No command for him. But you know, no augments for Starfleet either, and we kind of fly fast and loose with that rule, so I wouldn't count Worf out now. After all, he does now hold the rank of captain, and Michael Dorn would be a fantastic lead. But in the grand scheme of things, we'd have to throw that idea in with all the other rumors, from the expected Section 31 to rumored Janeway live action series possibilities. So it's just conjecture as to what show we might actually see go into production in 2023. Speaking of Janeway and what we see, did you catch the news about Voyager-A on Prodigy? Yeah, Voyager-A is out there now, as revealed by the finale of Prodigy. But don't feel bad if you missed it, because Voyager itself wasn't in the show. However, after the kids crash-landed on Earth, one of the shuttles flying above them is a Voyager shuttlecraft. It's the kind of thing a lot of pausing is needed to confirm, but there it is. Registry number NCC 74656-A. And it's that A that tells us that despite Voyager surviving its adventures in the Delta Quadrant, an eventual replacement was needed. Which does make me wonder, is Voyager a museum now?
Voyager's in a museum. Voyager is a museum.
Since I really enjoy nostalgia, I'm sure it's no surprise I totally visit it. But as that's unlikely unless I do a little time traveling into a fictional universe, I'll have to get my nostalgia hits in another form. How about a newer series with a classic feel? Strange New Worlds took the world by storm last year, delighting all kinds of Star Trek fans and introducing the universe of Trek to new ones as well.
I think that went well.
And while some die-hard Trek fans are still on the fence about trying out yet another Trek series, that may not be their kind of Trek. I still say Strange New Worlds is the epitome of what we expect from Trek, and if you like anything about the original series or those 80s and 90s Trek series, you will fall in love with Strange New Worlds. But once you finish season 1, you will have to wait until all likelihood October of 2023 for the 10-episode run of season 2. So watch at your own pace or binge about 30 times. Really, I recommend both. And while you're enjoying some new Trekkie adventures, have a look back as well, because this week DS9 celebrates 30 years on screen. That's right, because some of us needed a new way to feel older. It was 30 years ago this past week when Emissary made its screen debut, and we were introduced to a Trek series where the seeking out of new life and new civilizations happened on a whole other level, with prophets and shapeshifters, where Romulans became allies working alongside Klingons. Of course, there was space exploration, with a stable wormhole so close and a new quadrant to chart that expanded our Trekkie universe. But we also had a closer view of alien relationships and how living and working together under such different conditions than that of a starship helped to open up a world of new stories to tell. Ferengi became as normal in our day-to-day stories as Vulcans, and we learned to live with a show where the biggest complaints in the beginnings were, yeah, but they're on a space station, they don't go anywhere. Or, but Sisko's a commander, where's the captain? I am glossing over the other major complaint of who led the show because it was a very un-Trekkie complaint, and I don't consider any real Trekkies could have made it. DS9, however, brought us social issues that ranged from dealing with difficult relationships to navigating political issues. It focused on families and friendship, war and peace, planetary devastation and occupations, as well as recovery. Deep Space Nine gave us an entirely different kind of story, not only led by an actor of color, but a female second command that was, let's face it, often scarier than her commander, often because of her rebellious past. We were introduced to shapeshifters and wormhole aliens, prophets to those who believe, and we got some old friends who came along for the ride. It was the first Trek series that really explored religion and some of the positive and even negative outcomes because of blind faith. They explored same-sex relationships in a not-so-subtle Trek way of not actually addressing it, genetic enhancement and augmentation in so many ways and for multiple purposes, political and wartime espionage, plus the repercussions of battles and recovery from war. The high point for me was Worf coming on board. I know you're shocked considering I adore the character, but with him came Klingons, and yet more layers of their society and culture were peeled away. It was fantastic. And what's wonderful is the show holds up. After 30 years, some people are just now coming around to trying it for the first time and loving it. So this is a great time to catch up on any Trek you may have missed, as we've still got less than 6 weeks until Picard premieres. And if you'd like some more news, Trek updates, you can always check out the playlist here, and I'll see you there.